Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? Big P here. You know, don't you? You know, the voice of hardcore boxing. We say the things that nobody dare say. Today I'm joined by my good friend Kent from Belfast. How are you doing, Kent?
Good morning, Russell. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm off today, Kent. I'm going to go do some shopping, get a pair of jeans and a top, I think, a couple of jumpers, and go for a game of snooker. Man of leisure today.
A game of snooker on your own or with somebody?
Billy, no, mates. I've just set balls up. I just usually set colours up and see how many times I can clear up from yellow to black. Usually do it twice in 3 hours.
Love it.
Harder than
Love
what
it.
you think, to spread them out, yeah, but from spots, it's quite hard,
I think you've run out of people to beat in snooker, so I think that's why you're playing on your own.
Max thought you were a decent player, but Max, you're shit.
Big lummox.
Max is a lovable lummox, isn't he? But there's a lot been going on in boxing, Ken. I don't know what you make of it all lately.
I don't know where to start here. I've some stuff wrote down. It just seems to me like the Cold War at the minute with Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn is just getting worse by the day. You seen Frank last week come out and slammed Frank Smith. He called him that little fat geezer.
You mean Frank with sports?
Yep.
Well, look, he can't fight for toffee, can he? And Eddie's done a bit of boxing training over years, and he hanging around boxing, but it looked to me like plain old brutal bullying. I mean, Eddie were loving it. We're putting some right effort in money.
Yeah, he's 5-0 now, Russell. The record is up.
You have to give every round to Eddie Hills.
It's like that old thing. Just your boss comes out and you just let your boss beat you up for no way. It was embarrassing, to be honest, but it just shows you that the relationship with Warren now and Eddie Hearn, like 2 years ago, I think 2 years ago this week,
we could have a meal, want it together and all that.
Yeah, they were gonna save the world and save boxing. I think 2 years this week, we went into the first national lockdown. Yeah. And after that, there wasn't like any real content. Do you think that was ever going to happen, or it was just lip service?
What did I say? I said it's lip service. They'll never do it. There's too much hatred. There's too much gone on behind the scenes for them to work together. They've not put 10 fights on in 12 years.
No, and I'll tell you what, this goes back even before Warren and Eddie Hearn were involved in boxing. Warren in London at the time, his business was cigarette machines and slot machines around the clubs. Over in the other side, Barry, his business was cigarette machines and slot machines. And I think there was a bit of patch, they were getting involved in each other's patches and stuff and pricing each other out and things like that there. And it goes back it's so deep that it goes back even before boxing, and it just goes to show you, it's not about boxing, it's about money. It's more than boxing, but between them two.
They hate each other, don't they? Warren family and Hearn family hate each other.
Yeah, and the fact that they're using now Joe Joyce is being thrown into it and Anthony Joshua has been thrown into it. There's no way that Anthony Joshua is going to take a Joe Joyce fight as an interim fight.
You get beat.
No chance. No chance. And
Joe Joyce will
I believe that. And you seen that last week, the sparring footage and all was released. Like, we don't know when that sparring footage was. And he released the sparring footage
years and years ago, way before Olympics.
Yeah, I think it was around the time that Joe was in the England development squad. It was like a development GB squad that they had assembled.
Let me tell you this: I know somebody who saw them sparring before Joshua turned pro, and Joyce were flogging him then. He were flogging him then. 2012, before Olympics, were flogging him up and down EIS. I know some who sort sparring. So don't be kidded by Joshua's too much for Joyce, because they will not take that fight.
He's everything that's wrong for AJ. You know, he's a big, strong. He's got a chin that he's just made of granite. He's kind of, he breaks the mold as a heavyweight. You know, he's powerful. He's got a lot of volume in his punches. He's very strong. He can be a wee bit robotic at times, but you know, you look how robotic Vitaly Klitschko was, and look how great a fighter he was. But I think at the minute, if that fight was made, Russell, it wouldn't have the commercial value it would have maybe in a year down the line. So I don't think that fight will happen. There's no chance of it.
You know what I think might happen? They might find a weak southpaw if Usyk fight doesn't happen next, and it's an interim fight. So we're going to take an interim fight before Usyk. So we're going to need a southpaw, because Usyk's a southpaw, right? This is what they'll say. And they'll find somebody weak who's an easy win, who's a southpaw. Might even be the Chinaman, Luis Ortiz, Otto Wallen. Be one of them. That's
yeah, I think it has to be one of them. I don't think they're going to go into a Usyk rematch fighting an orthodox fighter. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, even in camp sparring. I think Zhang has signed to fight Hrgovic next in the IBF Eliminator, but that could change. You know, Eddie Hearn's got both of them, and so that could change by the day. I think Otto Wallen's last performance against journeymen, proper journeymen, so Savolotsky, I thought he was beat, and I don't think PBC will do Eddie Hearn any favours and let Luis Ortiz come over and job for Joshua.
No, I don't. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with Joshua. I've read somewhere this morning that they're saying Usyk's cleared to leave Ukraine to go train for Joshua, but I'd be surprised. I'd be very surprised. Very, very surprised if he fought the Sheer Usyk. But if he does, good.
Listen, Russell, we've seen for months now, we've got, my sources, I've got these sources, this and that. It all depends on who the source is. You know, I think Mike Coppinger released stuff that he heard that Usyk was been given a special dispensation that to leave and go and fight Joshua again, but that's going to be months of training camp. I need to find somewhere to train. You know, I think it'd be great if we did see Usyk back, because he's probably the top 3 pound for pound fighters in the world at his prime at the minute. You want to see him back in his prime, and I think this time when he fights AJ, I think he stops him.
What sources are we talking? Mike Coppinger's? Are we talking HB source, Daddy's source, or Asda's own source?
Perry.
Perry.
Nando's. More like Kevin and Perry. Yeah, it's all down to these. So see when I see these guys tweet stuff, I don't pay any attention to it whatsoever. It's just lip service that they keep themselves relevant. You know, till it comes from Usyk's team or Usyk himself, I'm not going to pay any notice to it whatsoever. It's fake news.
It's fake summer. It's fake summer. What do you think to Mark Efron's win at weekend?
I was on the Frank Warren show. The only
Lennox Clark now for British super middleweight title.
Well, it's good. There's actually going to be a British title fight. I looked at that bill the other night, and I didn't think it was a a great bill, to be honest with you. I want to see more.
It was shite.
I want to see more British titles. I want to see, the top of the bill was a European title. Mark Heffron, yeah, it's a brilliant win for him. He's going to be a British champion. That's the route that domestic fighters should be taking. On the card we had Dennis McCann in a fight for a WBO youth title. Now that's only 8 WBO youth title. That's
them as they go along, aren't they?
That's like a WBO youth title that went the distance, and it was an 8-round fight. I don't understand that at all. And
what next? The WBO youth silver. I mean, fucking hell, man. We're going around
he was
these trinket belts.
That fight should have been a Commonwealth title fight. The lad he was fighting, Tando, was Namibian. So it should have been for a Commonwealth title fight or something like that. It was a WBO youth. So that's a sanctioning fee that's went to the WBO. What's he going to be fighting for now? Well, Dennis McCann, he's actually a WBO European title. That's not the European title. These trinket belts are just a waste of time. And then on the up from that, we had Hans Cherise. He went up and he fought a lad, Jay Smith. It was for a WBC International Silver title. There's another trinket belt. Absolute waste of time. I think what we're seeing now, I was talking to Richard this week about this and talking about Dennis McCann, and I think Frank was on saying that his camp wasn't good and he wasn't as focused as normal.
Why did you put him on fucking show then?
Exactly.
What if he got beat? What if he got beat or slipped or fucking fell over or something or got knocked out? They'd have been fucking roaring then, wouldn't they?
He's only a young kid. He's 11-0, and I think at the level he's at, I think he should be fighting a lot better. I think they're just trying to pad him up and get him into a WBO position without probably even going down that domestic route. And you could see it in his performance. He looked bored, Russell. He looked bored.
Ken, do you know if you go through the divisions, the WBO and especially the WBA, which is worst division out of the lot, the WBA, that's like the old WBO, isn't it? This is how I look at it. You put WBC at top, then IBF, then WBO, then IBO. WBA is dog's arse. It's the 5th. If you go through them bottom 3 divisions, especially bottom 2 divisions, so WBA, WBO, go through them divisions and you look at all of the divisions, the top 10, look at the Warren fighters and the Hearn fighters who fought fucking nobody. Conor Benn, he's another one. Dennis McCann, they're not beat anybody. They're padding these guys out to get them a fucking world ranking, and it's embarrassing. And they're going to come a cropper when they come up against somebody because they're not going to be prepared. But if they went the British, Commonwealth, European route, they'd be seasoned and they'd be ready for these guys when they step up. And they're not. And that's why too many are falling at the fucking final hurdle. And everybody knows what's going on, but they just want to pad them out and get a few quid in. The managers know, the fucking trainers know as well. These kids are being led down the garden path thinking that they're fucking better than what they are. And they're not better than what they are, because if Conor Benn were any good, he'd be fighting Evanesian for European. They daren't let him near him. They're calling out for world guys and all this. He's fighting Chris Van Heerden. Chris Van Heerden doesn't do road work. He's got hand injuries, rib injuries, hip injuries. He's fucking nearly as old as me. Yeah, but he's a former champion. He's a former IBO champion from donkey's years ago, mate. It's fucking bullshit, mate. They're doing it to pad him out because they've got sponsors to keep happy and this and that. Look, they're pulling the wool over the fighters' eyes, telling them they're better than they are, and they're pulling the wool over the fucking sponsors and the fans' eyes. And I'm fucking up to here with it, mate.
Yeah, it's you look at there are 3 different styles. You've got domestic fighters. You should be able to cope, win domestic fights. Then there's Commonwealth level. You know, Commonwealth fighters are more come forward. They're more like aggressive. Then you got the European style. That's a bit more technical. You're learning 3 different styles there by fighting 3 different types of fighters. Then when you go into that world level, you could be fighting a mixture of all them. So you're right. I think matchmaking in the UK at the minute, you know, matchmaking and for Matchroom and for BT, I think has a lot to be desired. I don't think the fighters are being matched or being built to the level that they should be. And you said there about titles. Remember Nas was a super bantamweight, European super bantamweight champion. Steve Robinson was the featherweight WBO champion, and they got him in the position to fight Steve Robinson for the WBO title, and he hadn't even had a fight up at featherweight. So they done it with Nas. They got Nas in the position and basically got him a title off not even fighting for the weight, and that was the WBO.
He never fought for a British, did he, Nas?
No, he was European. He was Europe. He won I think it was WBC International. Then he went European title. Then he went straight into the Steve Robinson fight at featherweight.
Yeah, but what, he got a European a long way, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. He was European. He was international. I think he was WBC International, and he was European. And he was, as I say, the Steve Robinson fight. But sanctioning bodies, Russell, for years, like the WBA are the longest serving, you know, sanctioning body in boxing.
History, yeah.
In history. And Muhammad Ali was their first champion, you know, their first recognized WBA champion. Look what they done with Muhammad Ali. You know, they stripped him because he was going to, I think it was WBC. He wanted going to fight, unify the titles. At that time, the sanctioning bodies didn't want their title holder holding another belt. So because Ali went and fought for the WBC, they stripped Ali of the WBA title, and Terrell went and fought for the W. That's where Terrell was the WBA champion. That's how he got the WBA title.
Terrell?
Yep.
Didn't Joe Frazier end up with that belt at some point?
I think after it, Ali beat him.
No, I didn't.
Terrell.
Frazier end up with that belt when Ali got banned because it draft or something.
Yes. He ended up with the belt. Ali come back. Frazier beat him. Then the rest is history, as they say. But you're right, Russell. These sanctioning bodies, these trinket belts are getting out of order. Like WBO, what's it going to be next? WBO International Interim European Champion,
International
Gold,
frankincense or Muir.
It's getting ridiculous. And do you remember a couple of years ago, like Matchroom were at their worst at the time, and Matchroom were actually creating titles. You know, Matchroom had, I think, WBF titles, IBO titles, WBU titles, and I actually think Sky Sports were pushing these because that was their, you know, they were using that as a world title fight on their channel. But I think the board at the time actually said that, you know, you're going to have to get rid of these trinket belts. We're not sanctioning them. Why on earth are these belts now being sanctioned over British, Commonwealth and European belts?
I don't know, mate. It's well, say that again. What?
Why is the board letting these title fights be sanctioned?
You mean these trinket belts?
Yeah.
Because they're getting out at night, aren't they, and getting paid, aren't they?
Free gratis.
Listen, you know, Boxing Motor Control, biggest shithouses in the world, in the older world of sport. These people have got no scruples. They're a self-appointed little group of fucking insecure old men in the 70s that hand it down to the fucking relatives. It's been going on for years and years, mate. Like I said, nearly £1 million last year in expenses. It's all there on company house if you go into it. Didn't pay any tax on it. Put it down as expenses. You had a fucking good time on that, didn't they? Them six, didn't they? Smith, Giles, and other fucking four, didn't they? Oh, they had a fucking great old time on that, didn't they? Last year, jetting about all over the fucking place. Utter scumbags. Fucking sue me. Sue me if I'm fucking lying, you pricks.
What did you think of David Avanesian's opponent on Saturday night, Russell?
Shite, utter shite. I agree with Eddie Hills for once. Utter shite. Bricktop should be embarrassed putting him in, putting that guy in with him. They had to get David Avanesian out, fair enough, and he's hard to match because he's fucking real deal, isn't he? Utter garbage, mate, garbage. Who signed off on that? We're talking about a guy here that's world level. Putting him in with a guy who area level, central area level. What if he'd have got hurt? What are they going to do then? I'll put their fucking heads in their hands. Oh, I've got a body on slab. Because that's what's going to happen with some of this matchmaking. And let me tell you now, touch wood it done, but I'm telling you it will. It's going to come home to roost soon, let me tell you.
It was the worst European title fight I've seen, to be honest. And what do you think? What do you think Frank is actually? Do you honestly think for 1 minute, Russell, that Frank knows or thinks that if he thinks that Avanesian and Conor Benn are going to fight, he's an absolute dream world.
Well, they've got to keep up the pretense though, because they've shot them out. So listen, in my opinion, at the moment, Frank Warren's just treading water. And if Eddie Hearn breaks him next month, and let me tell you this, one whisper in Dillian Whyte's ear hole next week, say, Dillian, you tell him you're injured. Because injuries happen. And doctors, they write sick notes out for boxers, left, right, and centre if you pay them. If Eddie Hearn whispers in Dillian Whyte's ear hole next week, Dillian, tell him you're injured, Bricktop will be on his knees, because what he will do, he won't be able to pull the show because Fury's in camp and they sold all them tickets, haven't they? They'll have to get somebody in, and it'll end up in court, and they'll be back and forth, and it'll be more backbiting and more Cold War. But let me tell you this, they'll be on the knees if Dillian Whyte pulls out next month, let me tell you. And where does that leave boxing if he does pull out? It means you've got two promoters trying to fucking outdo each other, and the losers are the fans, because Dillian Whyte and Fury is a great fight, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's a really interesting fight. It's a massive domestic fight. It's the first really big domestic heavyweight fight since Lennox Lewis and Frank Bruno.
And look at the bottom of your ticket, it'll say the promoter has the right to what was it, reserve or whatever, if somebody pulls out or something, don't they? They can just slip somebody else in, can't they? You know,
subject to terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions and all that. If you read fucking small print, you might need a magnifying glass to read it on a Bricktop ticket. But I'm telling you, if Dillian Whyte pulls out, and listen, I reckon he might, that'll put them on their back foot even more, let me tell you, because they'll get that much flack. And it won't be their fault. So they'll have to twist it and blame Eddie Hearn. But Eddie won't be bothered. He's up and far away. He's not to do his show. But he'll be pulling strings. He's the puppet master and all this, mate. Just like they were when Ricky Burns left Bricktop and he went to Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn made him sign something, didn't he, to say, look, they're exempt from anything, you know, to do with show, to do with Burns signing from. Sign this to say you've left on your own free will. Ricky Burns got sued by Bricktop and bankrupted, didn't he? Eddie Hearn didn't get bankrupted, did he?
He ended up working in JJB.
Ended up working in JJB, ended up on Skid Row with fuck all. Do you know what I mean? So let me tell you this. Dillian Whyte could pull out next month. He could pull out next month. I'm telling you now, mate.
I wouldn't be surprised, you know. I said this months back. I wouldn't be surprised next if Eddie can't get a southpaw for the Usyk fight, and he's going to have an interim fight. If Dillian Whyte pulls out of this fight, what's to say that Eddie isn't going to cash in on a rematch between Dillian Whyte and Anthony Joshua?
There you go.
That's the only fight. That's the only fight outside of Tyson Fury that Dillian Whyte is going to get massive money.
Dillian Whyte will still get his bite at Fury, because Fury will have to have an interim fight. If Whyte pulls out, say they slip somebody in for Fury fights Chisora or whatever, and Wembley's already sold out, so they have that. Everybody has a moan. Dillian Whyte said, "Well, you've had an interim fight. I've got to have one now because I feel all right now. My shoulder's a lot better." So he fights Joshua, gets same money as he would have got for Fury, and the Fury fight's still there. Everybody's a winner, aren't they? And who are losers? The fucking fans. These cunts don't give a fuck about fans. Listen, watch it unfold in the next 6 weeks. Well, it's 4 weeks, isn't it now?
4 weeks.
Watch it unfold in the next 4 weeks. Let me tell you, get ready.
It's been interesting. We seen yesterday, you know, as you say, there Warren's treading in water. It looked like, I think David Evanesian, from he beat Josh Kelly's career has went down. You would have thought he would have went up. You know, his career would have went up.
Backwards since he beat Josh Kelly.
Since he's beat Josh Kelly, he's went backwards. It's going to get to a stage now where they're just going to have to say, he doesn't sell tickets in England. He's a TV fighter. I think Frank's probably losing money on him.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to get to a stage where they're going to have to get him a fight against somebody better than that opposition. Worst European title fight I've ever seen. But going back to the whole Dillian Whyte thing and the whole Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn thing, you seen yesterday, like the Cold War, like it's starting now to get to the stage where Zach Parker, Demetrius Andrade has been announced. It's going to be in England. It's going to be Derby, the football stadium.
Good fight, that. It's a good fight, that.
It's a trade fight. It's a proper trade fight. It's for WBO interim. Then he announced yesterday Craig Richards against Joshua Buatsi on the same night.
Yeah, why do that and try and spoil Frank's show? I thought boxing was supposed to be working together to grow the sport.
So the fans are getting hurt there that night. You know, there's two really good domestic fights that somebody's going to miss. You know, you're going to be watching one or the other. What do you think about that, Russell?
Well, I won't watch that zone, me. I won't fucking pay for that shit. I've got BT Sports. We've got it with fucking telephone, haven't we, here? But I won't watch that DAZN shit. I watch highlights. Fuck them. But
the next morning.
Yeah, Parker and I got streamed on a free stream, DAZN stream. Illegal stream, but Parker Andrade is a good fight. Andrade, you make a favourite in that fight, wouldn't you? Because he's technically better, but he's a boring bastard. But the other one, Buatsi and Craig Richards. Craig Richards is domestic level, in my opinion. Terry Chappendama disagrees because it's his big chum, but Craig Richards is domestic level, right? The other guy he's fighting, Buatsi, you say he's Euro level, wouldn't you? So you make him a favourite in the fight. But for Tony Bellew to say that he's like Holyfield and Andre Ward rolled into one, it's fucking bullshit. Because it's 6 years since Rio Olympics and Buatsi's done fuck all, mate, except grow a beard.
Who's he fought?
He beat nobody, mate. Beat nobody. Bin men.
I am absolutely bored with Joshua Buatsi, to be honest with you. I've been bored about...
I am. 160 grand a fight he's on.
All these stories and all this, he's this good guy and all. I don't care about that. I want to see if he can fight or not. I'm sick of it. You know, I think his career is probably... He should have been having this fight 4 years ago.
Yeah, he should.
Easily 4 years ago. And you know, he's on 160 grand a fight. He's had, 16, 17 fights?
Millionaire, mate. He's had 2 million out of that job, hasn't he? 2.5
for fighting.
out of that job plus sponsorship. he's had a good screw on it for knocking Eddie Yates, the fucking bin man, off Coronation Street out, hasn't he?
It's
Who
shocking.
was he beat? Who was he fucking beat? He's beat no cunt. He don't even do interviews, mate. I can't get behind him, mate. He's a prick with a beard.
I'm just bored of it. I've been just bored of the whole story and what a great fighter he is and how
I
technical
hope
he
Craig
is.
Richards punches fuck out him, leaves him knocked out, mate. And I hope he gets safe to his family, but I hope he gets fucking iced.
And the whole Virgil Hunter thing, the best coach, he's got the Tony Bellew, Tony Bellew's on saying he's with the best coach in boxing now. And
who's had one world champion?
Yeah, one world champion. And
ruined
to be honest with
ruined everybody else that he's had.
Any coach could have trained Andre Ward to win a world title. Any coach in the world, the worst boxing coach in the world.
He's a fucking probation officer, parole officer. That's what he is, Virgil Hunter. He's a parole officer who thinks he's a fucking big dog. So as far as I'm concerned, I'll put him in the bracket as a prison screw, fucking traffic warden, and old Bill, mate. He's a prick. He's a prick, mate. Parole officers are pricks, mate. They lock you up. So fuck him. You know
yeah. The whole Zach Parker Andrade fight, I'm really excited about it. It's a really, really good trade fight. It's two unbeaten fighters, two dangerous fight. I think it's the stage now where both of them, I think Zach's been put in this WBO position, and I think there's nowhere else to go for Zach Parker now. Andrade, has no commercial value in America whatsoever, like none. Like, he doesn't sell in America. His style he's a nightmare. He's an absolute nightmare to fight. It's a tricky. It's like the Who Needs Him club. It's for the title of the Who Needs Him club, but it's really bad for the fans that those two big fights are on in the same night. It's not about the fans. They shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Okay, then. What did you think to Dennis's show on Fight Zone? 5 fights on, 5 opponents, 5 of them losing records, 5 wins for Dennis. What I predicted. But Dave Allen there in a 4-rounder. He's now had 2 fights with Dennis in 2 years, but in a 4-rounder against a guy 5-8 who'd been beat by a 1-5 guy. Dave getting in the ring, 20 clem, fat as a pig Michelin man. Coming out doing interviews saying, oh, I was slow and I'm this, I'm that, and blah, blah, blah. Do you think he needs to give it up before he gets hurt?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm sick of hearing this story. I like Dave Allen. I think he's a good character. He's a nice guy. I think, is Dave Allen a qualified teacher?
No, is he fucked? His sister's an headmistress. I don't know where that's come from.
Well, there was stuff out there before that he was like a maths teacher.
No, he used to sit at back at classroom and help some kids with the sums and that. Don't make him a qualified teacher, does it?
I don't want to hear these stories anymore. I was slow, I was depressed, I wasn't feeling great. My camp, I can't get motivated. That's either you want to do something or
it's
you
the
don't.
Boy who cried fucking wolf now, isn't it? And you've got to come out with a story nowadays. I'm going to let rip here in a minute, so get ready. Right. People are having to come out with fucking stories nowadays so that you can't fire back, like mental health. People throw these mental health stories out there. How can you say back? Fuck your mental health, all you people out there crying about mental health. There's people who went to World War II, they weren't fucking crying about mental health. There's people in jail doing 10 years who are fucking innocent. They don't cry about mental health. There's people who've got fuck all money and can't put trainers on the kids' feet or feed the kids. They don't cry about mental health. Fucking get over yourselves with your mental health bollocks. And now I've got Dave Allen coming out with, I want to do it for me unborn. He's got a baby on way to some bird. Well done. Right, if he's having a kid, good. But the stories are falling on fucking deaf ear holes now, aren't they? Gambling, fucking mental health, overweight, and fucking not training, and can't get my head into gear, and now it's the latest fucking story. And I want to do it for me Dave Allen Foundation. Fuck off with your stories, Dave. It's a load of shit. Load of bollocks. You've had up team fucking chances. You're gonna get yourself hurt. It's the fucking hurt game. You know what pisses me? It fucking winds me up. Do you know why? Because it's wasted talent. Dennis used to say to me, it's wasted talent, him. And any promoter that takes him on now is fucking dicing with death because he'll get hurt in the ring. Fucking Dennis goes and promotes him. When it suits, they're fucking hypocrites. A lot of them, mate. He's going to end up on slabbing or walking about in some pub age 45 going, oh, could have been a runner bean. You know them stories where they come up to you in a pub and they're like that. Yeah, I could have been the champ. He's won fuck all belts. He's got as many belts as me and Spencer Fearing in boxing. 0. Fucking give it up. The job centre is that way. Get to fucking job centre. Fucking people hanging around boxing like a fucking bad smell for a few quid. He's not going to get the DeBar money ever again, is he? That's gone. Get over that. Do we agree, Kent?
That's gone. That ship's gone.
Get over it. He's now coming out on Boxing Social saying he's paying to fight on Dennis shows. And to sell tickets to pay for opponent. What the fuck? That's like going to Manchester City, right, on loan for a month and then it falling through and then going to play Ryman League and paying to fucking play, paying your subs. Get the fuck out of here. It's time to hit the fucking road, Jack. Fucking hell, what the fuck? Is he fucking off his head? Fucking people taking advantage of the situation like Dennis. They don't give a look. You think Dennis gives a fuck about Dave Allen? Dave Allen
Definitely
left Dennis. Not. Dennis got rid of him and said, look, you're not training, get gone. And then he's gone elsewhere and he's earned a few quid a match. Do you think Dennis gives a fuck about him? Dennis don't give a fuck about anybody except himself. Does he give a fuck about Clinton Woods? He lives up that road from him. He don't even speak to him. Clinton Woods put him on the fucking map. How many of Dennis's ex-champions speak to him? Stuart Hall, Carl Thompson, Ross Birkinshaw, Jamie McDonnell, Clinton, that Ricky Hatton. None of the fuckers speak to Ricky Hatton. Might say hello so he can come and do an appearance if Dennis is having an evening with Ricky Hatton night. They're not in Dennis's life. Dave Allen wasn't in his life for years, but he was hanging around like a bad smell when I was up there because it's an outlet, innit? If Eddie fucks you off, well, I can always come back here. Fighters are cunning, but Dennis is cunning like a fox. He don't give two fucks about Dave Allen. Dennis can't come on my channel and say, oh, whoever takes Dave Allen on now, it's in bad taste because he's gone. He's gone at game, you know, after that David Price fight. It's on my channel, go look. Then he's promoting him. What if Dave ends up on slab? Who's at fault? Dennis won't give a fuck. Think he gives a fuck about Dave Allen? See, fuck. Promoters don't give a fuck about boxers, full stop. They don't give a flying fuck. And the sooner these boxers get it in the fucking heads, the better. They're a commodity, a piece of meat, a fucking cattle market. Fuck. Look, you've just seen it, haven't you? Lee Purdy, Dave Allen, O'Hara Davis, we Eddie Hearn. They don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a flying fuck. Calzaghe and Frank Warren. He never even got paid for Hopkins' fight, did he? Calzaghe sued him, ended up with fucking hundreds of thousands of pounds to pay out in high court. Warren just folded his company, didn't he? They don't give a fuck. Promoters do not give a fuck. And the sooner these boxers realise that, the better. I think Dave probably didn't have nowhere to go. So he had to go crawling back, didn't he, up there on his fucking hands and knees with begging bowl out. But Dennis don't give a fuck about him. If he did, he'd be paying him a wage. The fuck out of here, man. Paying to fight. Fucking, I've never heard no fuck. Yeah, sell some tickets to pay for your opponent. The fuck out of here. What, when he's been earning hundreds of grands with Eddie Hearn? He's had to go back to that. The kid must be distraught, being used and abused by Eddie Hearn. And now look, fucking running around with begging bowl. It's a fucking sad state of affairs. And what are the board doing about it? They're doing fuck all. They're doing fuck all, mate. What sort of person, right, does that to somebody? And what sort of person allows it to happen to them? He's supposed to be going to be a dad and all that, and he's going to carry on like that. Go and get a fucking job. Learn a trade. Still young. Fucking winds me up, man. Sorry about me rant there. I can't.
You're absolutely right. The whole Dubois money and, you know, catching it, that opportunity is never going to happen again. And
do you know it were $500,000 that package? Because they had Gorman, right? David Adelaide, and there were another one. There were if I get beat, there were a way back into Knicks. But all these others would have just beat Gorman's. Look, you hear Dave Allen go, oh, Gorman's my great friend and all that, right? Well, fair enough, wherever he is in. I'm not bothered. I don't even care. Dave won't be able to live with Gorman in a boxing ring. He'd get his ears boxed off. David Adelaide would punch him upside down, right? So, but the offer were there. So why did he turn around and say, well, I thought I'd tell you Eddie Earning that because I thought I had to stay loyal to Matchroom. He never had a fucking deal with Matchroom, and Matchroom had him punched upside down God knows how many times. So why did he need to stay loyal to Matchroom? They don't give a fuck about him. And where are Matchroom now for him? They don't want to work with him, do they? I've heard back. They're not interested. If that Babbitt fight were there for him, they'd put him in with Babbitt. It ain't there. By the time he's going to say, I'm ready for Babbitt, Babbitt will be over hill and far away. He'd have been beat and gone. He'd be dead in water. There ain't no fight there for him with Eddie Hearn. And Eddie can't go back to him now because if he gets hurt, he'll have blood on his hands, won't he? After saying, look, you've just told me that you ain't got it no more, and it's not in your heart and that, and you're retiring, fair enough. He can't take him back in case he gets hurt. You see where I'm coming from? So Dave Allen's the one that's dug his sen in an hole. He's made his own decisions as his own manager. But what do the board of control go and do? They're going to let him manage fucking fighters. What the fucking hell? They call me Punch, or am I just telling it fucking straight here? I don't mean to be digging Dave Allen out. I like him. My kids and my kids' mum like Dave Allen. My dog likes him. He's a nice kid. But he's made very bad decisions and they've come home to roost, haven't they? And it's no good crying over spilt milk now. Because he's walking around now, can't even fucking talk properly. Have you heard him talk? Go put an interview on from when he was first with Dennis on YouTube and put one on now and put them both together and listen to him. He sounds like fucking Riddick Bowe, mate. He sounds like Riddick Bowe. And he needs to go and get a fucking job and leave it alone. You want to train fighters in your spare time, fair enough. Do it when you come on from fucking work. But Dave, pack this boxing game in, mate. You're going to end up on slab or you're going to end up damaged. You'll end up sat in fucking Conyers. In Conyers, we're talking shit for the rest of your life, mate. That's where he's heading, mate. I'm telling you, it's a cruel sport, Kent, isn't it?
Brutal. I think Dennis is using him. Now, you look at Max, right? Max came away from his fight, 4 weeks ago? Max probably earned more for his fight than Dave Allen did at the weekend for his. And that's shocking. You know, Dave Allen was fighting for Luis Ortiz at one stage and beat Lucas Brown, who was a former WBA champion, and was in one stage he was talking, I'm 2 fights away from fighting from Joshua to fighting now on that Fight Zone.
Paying to fight
On Fight Zone with about 20 people watching. I don't know who in the right mind would buy a ticket to any of them fights and any of them cards. You know,
said his family and friends, Annie. But the point of the matter is, who's looking out for him?
Nobody.
Nobody's looking out for him, are they? Nobody gives a fuck. Right? His 15 minutes are up, but nobody's telling him, are they? Nobody's going to tell him that, are they? Nobody's going to. No, he's still got an Instagram following. That don't mean fuck all. In boxing, his 15 minutes are up. Right, so that's that. So what's he going to do? Keep fucking plodding on with these guys who are fucking basically white collar jobs who he's fucking knocking out? What the fucking hell? What's he going to do? Have 6 of them? Have 6 of them on trot and then say I'm ready? Because he's not learning nothing in these fights. He's gone backwards from who we were fighting. It's fucking sad to see, mate. It's sad to fucking see.
Yeah.
And whether there's some. whether there's an imbalance in his fucking, because he's got an head like concrete, whether there's an imbalance in his head and he's not listening, I don't know, or somebody's gassing him up. I don't know, mate, but he's gone at the game. He's gone. I've been watching this sport for 40 odd years since I was a 9-year-old, mate. He's gone at the game. The experts say he's gone at the game. So who the fucking hell's giving him a license? And who's promoting him? Border Control and Dennis Hobson. Dennis is putting him on shows. He's been on 2 shows. Fair enough. He's been safely matched. But who's giving him a license? Hey, what happens if he gets carried away after another 4 more white collar wins, and then they put him in with somebody who can really crack? What happens if he ends up on slag? Are we all going to have blood on our hands? So I'm clearing my conscience now. He's a disaster waiting to happen, and I challenge any cunt to tell me otherwise.
The thing that annoyed me most at the time was the whole Darren Barker thing. You know, Darren Barker was using.
You think he gives a fuck about him, Darren Barker? Where's he now?
You know,
is he going to send him food parcels when he's living in a bedsit with fuck all in 10 years?
That was the worst.
Him off and nobody gives a fuck about him. Darren Barker, let me tell you this. If he'd have fought the bar and they'd have got the money that they wanted because they overpriced the sense, he'd have gone in and fucking took what he wanted off that. But he didn't want to train him for Dorian Darch, did he, for buttons? Didn't want to put the time in for that, did he? Because it's about money, because they're from Essex. Cunts from Essex only care for money. Trust me. We know that, don't we? These people from Essex are only bothered about money. They don't give a fuck about anybody's feelings or what's fucking right or wrong, or morals or anything. They care for fucking money, mate. That Darren Barker, don't give 2 fucks about Dave Allen, mate, let me tell you. They give a fuck about themselves, the shithouses. Utter shithouses.
Yeah, it was absolutely disgraceful from Darren Barker. You know, they had those 2 fights and he was his mate and all, and he was his mentor, and they'd done all those they'd done all those vignettes on Matchroom YouTube, and it was then the Dorian Darch things, like, I'm not getting paid enough for that, so I'm not going to help you. And I'm sure Dave was absolutely gutted.
Listen, I reeled off all them trainers the other week. How many trainers Dave has? 12 trainers or something like that, right? Is that all these trainers, right? And all these managers been all over the place, right? Has he ever thought that he might be the fucking problem, not everybody else? His decision making's poor, isn't it? Very, very poor. So he might be the problem. Do you know what I mean? But people have took advantage of the kid. He's a nice kid. People have took advantage on him, and nobody's watching out for him. But yet he's managing fighters. He's advising fighters. Get the fuck out of here. And these fighters think because they're latching onto him, they might get opportunities. They're fucking in cuckoo land, mate. It don't work like that, mate. Look, he hasn't got the pull that he had when he were at Matchroom now, has he? That's gone. That's gone. So they can forget fucking Dennis. Dennis might not even be putting shows on in another year. Forget what Dennis can do. Listen, trust me, watch it unfold. Watch it unfold. But nobody's watching out for him. And I'm embarrassed to say that I used to work for Dennis. After Dennis said, look, whoever promotes Dave Allen from now on, they're going to have blood on their hands. Well, you're in the driving seat, Dennis. You're promoting him. Your words. Read what you sow, Dennis. That were your one-liner that you used to say to people in that office. They ought to read what they sow. Well, you read what you fucking sow. Because if Dave Allen ends up on slab, you've got blood on your hands, Dennis.
You know, you look at box. I was looking at Box Rec the other day there, and Dennis has got a fighter, right? Who
Dale Arrowsmith, you're going to mention now, aren't you?
Well, Dale Arrowsmith is 138-1 in his last 40 fights.
So Dale Arrowsmith's 138-1 in his last what?
40 fights.
40 fights. So who keeps licensing it? And he's had 60 fights with 3 wins, hasn't he?
Shocking. Right,
and he's booked out for the next 5-6 times, isn't he? Every other week. So that means that these fights are going to be move-arounds, aren't they? So he turns up, moves around for 4 rounds, gets his money and goes home in his Range Rover. How fucked is that? How fucked up is that? He's on more money than fucking Star Attraction, isn't he?
It's not even a boxing fight, the whole journeyman thing. I think it's actually a disservice
Let me tell you a
to
story now, lad.
journeymen.
Tell you a story, Kent, man. This is a true story. This. Clinton Woods told me this. You know, back in the day, if you lost 5 on shot, you had to go in front of the board.
Yeah.
Whether you were a fucking journeyman or a pro, you lose 5 on shot, you're in front of the board, right? So Dale Harrismith's gone 1-38-1, and he's won 1 in his last 40 fights. But he's booked out on next 5 shows in next 7 weeks or something. How the fuck can that happen? So he just turns up, stays out of range, loses and gets his money and goes on. How the fuck is that boxing? He's conning public. He's conning the public, but who's allowing him to do it? The board and the promoters are all fucking in on it. You get better sparring in your gym, wouldn't you? With your missus. It fucking winds me up to fucking hell.
It's actually a disservice to journeymen. You know, guys like I remember
Like
back
Tony
in the
Booth.
day.
Guys like Tony Booth
Booth
fought anybody.
Tony Booth, Nigel Rafferty, what do you call the guy?
They're not even journeymen now. They're just you know what I call them? Move
Losers.
Around men.
Losers.
Losers. I call them move around men. They just turn up, have a little fucking move around, stay out of range, bit of an hug, get the money, they fuck off. They drive better cars than promoters, these fucking move around men.
I remember I even remember Howard Clark, the fighter. He was like a British level fighter and then just went as a journeyman. But as he went in the journeyman, he was still trying to win fights. You know, I remember he had 2 really good fights against Gary Lockett as a journeyman. He was still trying to win. And now you've got guys turning up at shows. Like I looked there at the weekend. There was a guy 0-32-0. Another guy 0-30-0. Another guy 0-15-0. Another guy 1-20-1. 1-20-0. How on earth should that be allowed in boxing?
Well, it shouldn't be allowed, should it? But what we do on here, we say the things that nobody dares say. There's no other YouTube channel says it how I say it. Yeah, I might be fucking very curt. I don't fucking have knackers in my life. I've heard enough knackers in prison listening to all these Porsche owners and mansion fucking people who live in mansions who've got fuck all. I've heard it all. I've seen everything in my 52 year, mate. But let me tell you this. We say things on here that nobody dares say, but everybody wants to say. But they all want to have access. I don't give 2 fucks about access. I don't give 2 fucks about it. I ain't got time for it anyway. So this little niche that I've carved for myself in boxing, people can make as many fucking videos about me as they want. Keep them fucking coming because you're getting me out there. But let me say this. I'm saying it in front of a fucking camera. All these other cunts are either behind the camera, and there's a lot behind the fucking camera, who don't say fuck all. So you need to get behind me because what I'm saying is true. So just fucking watch it all unfold. Let me tell you. And you know, in years to come, when I'm fucking gone, because I might not be fucking around much longer doing this, they said, you know what? He was fucking right in. I'm telling you, Matt, nobody says it how we say it, do they, Ken?
How can a promoter book someone to fight 1 week and have them in 2 weeks later, and then have them in another 3 weeks later?
Because they know they're just going to turn up and move around. They're fucking told to lose. Look, move around. Don't throw any punches. Collect your money and go. It's bollocks.
Small hall boxing now is literally smaller hall boxing because smaller hall boxing, and I don't like saying small hall boxing, but this shows like that, smaller hall boxing. It is, you know, before you would have seen a lot of non-TV, I would have called them non-TV shows. I don't like using the word small hall, but the non-TV shows would have had really, really good pick'em fights. They would have had good matches, you know, 60-40 fights at least. Guys that sell tickets against guys that sell tickets. That's a win-win. That's a good gate. But now we don't even, we can't even get that. We're getting this utter garbage. Like if my best mate was fighting a guy 0-32-0, I wouldn't go and see it. How could you sell? How could you, as a fighter, right, on a ticket deal with a job, non-TV, very little sponsors, how are you going to make a living fighting opposition like that? Because nobody's going to want to go and see you.
Well, what you're missing, Kent, is right. You're going to do 50 tickets for your family and friends on average, right? No matter if you're fighting fucking a daisy, right? So you're going to do 50 tickets straight away. That's enough to pay for opponent. And that's $2,000. That'll pay for fucking move around guy. Any more tickets that you do after that is your purse, right? That's how it works on these shows, right? So you've got to do 100 tickets to get $2,000 for yourself. 100 tickets gets you $4,000, but promoter's going to want $1,000 off that. So you've got to maybe do 120 tickets just to get you sent $2,000 and keep everybody happy. So if you do 120 tickets, you're all right. But what happens when you step up? Because you're not learning now against these move around guys. You might as well learn it in the fucking gym. Only experience you're going to get is fighting under the lights in front of a crowd and having the weigh-in and all, a few interviews and all that bollocks. But you're cheating the fucking fans. It's like I don't want to see Fraser Clark in any more knockovers. I want to see him in a British title eliminator. He's won a fucking Olympic bronze. Don't piss up our legs, Fraser. Go and get in a fucking eliminator. Go and fight Gorman or somebody like that. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Or Dave Allen or somebody. Go fight somebody who's a bit of a name. Don't be fucking fighting guys out of fucking crowd who've been in Witherspoons all afternoon. I don't want to see shit like that. Because that's where we get somebody injured, isn't it? Yeah. But now it's a free-for-all now. And it's a free-for-all now on the board now. Are dictated to by promoters. They're dictated to now because they want to earn money as well. They've become money-hungry cunts, the board, like the money-hungry cunt promoters. That's the bottom line. If anybody's got a fucking problem with what I've said on here tonight as well, so this morning, so come on here and fucking challenge me because nobody ever fucking does, mate. You know why? Because I'm telling the fucking truth. Nobody's challenged me whatsoever. Nobody says fucking boo to me, mate. Nobody's thrown a fucking punch because I'm telling them the truth. You know I am. You're boxing through and through. It's bullshit what's going on. And like I said, we're going to end up with fucking kids damaged. And the sport's on its fucking knees, mate. It's on its fucking knees in front of our eyeballs.
It's the weakest British Boxing Board of Control ever.
Ever. It was ever. When John Morris were in charge. It's weak as piss. Because they all think the fucking stars all strutting about in the fucking tailor-made suits. These old bastards front board. Yeah, gin and tonic. Porky, yeah, tell them a gin and tonic. But make sure it's got lime and not lemon. I want lime in mine. Yeah, all right. Lime. Fucking what? This is what you're fucking up against, mate. Shithousers of the highest order. Shithouse, yeah. I think. Have you ever been to Mexico, Dennis? No, yeah, I've been. Yeah. Oh, Cancun. We'll take the missuses down. WBC convention. Yeah, I was fucking sat next to you, Charlie Giles. Another freeloading bastard you are. You fucking come and take me on here, Charlie Giles, you prick. These cunts have had fucking free gratis years, mate. Strutting about like the fucking superstars, mate. Old bastards in the 70s. Killing the fucking sport and milking it, wringing what they can for themselves. Fuck off. Whatever you've took out of boxing, consider it severance pay. Take the fucking train, mate. Get gone. Get fucking gone out the sport. Let's get some new breeding. Let's get some fucking people in who actually fucking care for the boxer's well-being. Who are going to sort out this fucking drug testing fucking problem. Fuck off all these move-arounds. Fuck off all these ticket deals, because ticket deals are fucking illegal. Fuck off all this fucking pay-to-play bollocks, pay-to-fight bollocks. It wants ripping up and starting again from top to fucking bottom. But nobody's got the big enough fucking balls to do all about it, have they? No fucker.
You know, last week we had that Ian John Lewis announcement.
Oh,
you know,
he'll be back
right?
in a few months.
So Ian John Lewis has been demoted to not an A-star no more. So basically, Ian John Lewis has been the scapegoat of, you know, he's been used as a scapegoat that doesn't change anything about boxing and the British Boxing Board of Control.
They took heat off themselves, aren't they, throwing him to wolves? That's all they've done. They took heat off themselves.
It doesn't change the fact that Jack Carroll should be undisputed champion. But we've demoted Ian John Lewis, so it makes everything okay now. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. As much as Ian John Lewis is probably one of the worst referees in boxing.
Referee and worst judge I've ever seen in my time watching boxing.
Yeah.
Across the fucking board. He makes fucking Adelaide Bird look good.
There's and every single week there's something happening with one of those judges or referees. So yes, I'm glad he has been demoted, but it's not fair because he's not the only one who's making these mistakes and decisions every single week.
Wealthy man, he's a wealthy man.
All of them.
He's a wealthy man. All them cunts are, mate. You want to see Terry fucking O'Connor's gaff he lives in, mate? Fucking hell, mate.
Castle.
Fucking hell. They've got right gaffs, mate. Listen, mate. The gangsters, mate. Listen. Let me tell you something about that shit house. Terry O'Connor, you shit house. You know I don't like you. Terry O'Connor, let me tell you a story about Terry O'Connor, right? Terry O'Connor had a fight with John McDermott's dad.
Big Stan knocked him clean out. Stan
iced him, right? Years later, Terry O'Connor's the referee.
Yep.
In Tyson Fury's fight with John McDermott, Stan's son. John McDermott bladdered Tyson Fury. Am I right?
Yep, that's right. Yep.
Bladdered him. He went to points. Terry O'Connor was referee and judge, and he gave it to Tyson Fury. Why? Because he's a spiteful cunt. But how on earth did Terry O'Connor end up the referee in a fight where one of the combatants in the fight, John McDermott, where his dad Stan McDermott, and go put Stan McDermott boxrec into your boxrec if you got.
Oh yep, got it. It was at the Royal Albert Hall.
So Stan McDermott bladders him in 1977. 30 years later or whatever, they end up fighting, and he gives it to Tyson Fury. And John McDermott won by about 5 rounds. It was fucking shocking. He thought that was bad, the Ian John Lewis one of the week. It was shocking. And poor little fucking Frank Maloney at side at fucking ring had an heart attack, didn't he? He had an heart attack when they read scorecards out. You couldn't make it up, so they had to do a rematch. And obviously, Tyson Fury got his head into gear and did him McDermott. But let me tell you this. Terry McDermott, you are a bent cunt.
Terry O'Connor.
Terry O'Connor, you're a bent cunt.
But I remember watching that on Friday Fight Night, and it was at the time when the Sky didn't really want now to do with boxing, and they put all the cards on Friday night because they wanted the Saturday night slot for football. And I remember the commotion at ringside, and there was more. It was absolute chaos. It was chaos that night. So it was. I had McDermott winning by at least 3 rounds in that fight. So it did.
Yeah. Okie dokie then, Kent. Well, listen, we've had over an hour, so I hope you're well. Thanks for coming on. I'll have to get I'm gonna get a shower now and a bit of shopping. I'm a snooker kid.
Russell, you look like Uncle Junior there at The Sopranos.
Thank you very much. Fuck off, he's about 70, that cunt, isn't he?
All you need is a cap and a pair of glasses. There you go, Uncle Junior. You're that. Yes, you look like Uncle Junior's stunt double.
Thank you very much, you prick. I'm going to stitch you up with a thumbnail now, Kent, for that.
Oh, thank you very much.
I'll make you famous. Right. Okay.
What about Max? Is he not called up this week?
Tomorrow. He's coming to see
tomorrow
at factory.
Is he training?
Yeah, training at morning at Julian's, and then he'd call up at Rotherham at morning by 11 o'clock, something 12 o'clock. Yeah, he'll train hard, Max, tomorrow. Then he'll fucking go KFC, won't he?
And he'll have two tray bakes and a sausage roll in the garage on the way down.
He has, it's only right corner. I take him for, so what you want, mate? He always has chicken fucking fillet wrap or something. Zinger burger.
Zinger burger. That's it.
So, all right then. Well, listen, you take care,
Okay.
Kev. Thanks for coming on.
Take care, Russell.
Peace out. Fucking Kent saying I'm like Junior Soprano or Kent. Get ready for this fucking thumbnail now, mate. I'm going to put a thumbnail out there that's going to defeat all other thumbnails. All right, peace out. Have a great day.